You open the laptop, you type in your job title, you hit search, and suddenly there are 412 results, and for one brief electric moment, it feels like the world is full of opportunity. It feels like this time will be different. But here is the thing nobody tells you. That feeling is the product, not the job. The feeling.
Welcome to the Bob Nevin Careers channel. We're happy to have you here. Get ready to learn something new. Let's do this.
Job boards are not broken. They are working exactly as designed. And the design was never built around you finding a job. It was built around something else entirely. Something that generates billions of dollars every single year while you refresh the page, waiting to hear back from a company that already moved on 3 weeks ago. To understand why, you have to go back further than you think. Long before LinkedIn existed, long before Monster or Career Builder or Indeed were household names, there was a moment in the mid-1990s when the internet cracked open the job market and everyone thought it was a revolution. Researchers at the time described it as a democratization of hiring. The idea was simple and genuinely beautiful in its logic. Post jobs online, reach more candidates, fill roles faster, cut out the middleman, lower the cost. The friction would disappear. And for about 18 months, it worked. But then something shifted. The volume of applications exploded. A job that once attracted 40 resumes suddenly attracted 400, then 4,000. Companies did not build more capacity to review them. They did not hire more recruiters. They simply started using filters and keywords and applicant tracking systems to manage the flood. The candidate experience degraded. The hiring timeline stretched. And the job boards, they kept growing because their revenue was never tied to whether you got hired. It was tied to whether companies kept posting. That is the first thing you need to understand. Job boards make money when employers post. They do not make money when you land a job. Your success is not their metric. Your activity is their metric. Every search you run, every alert you set, every resume you upload feeds a data set that makes their advertising more targeted and their pitch to the next employer more compelling. You are not the customer. You are the product and also the inventory. Dr. Peter Cappelli at the Wharton School of Business has spent years studying what he calls the broken hiring market. In his research, he found that the average corporate job posting now attracts over 250 applicants. Of those, somewhere between 4 and 6 will ever be seen by a human being. The rest are eliminated before they reach any eyes at all, screened out by software that is optimizing for keyword matches, not human potential. Think about what that means for you. You spend 45 minutes tailoring your resume. You write a cover letter, you hit submit, and there is a roughly 98% chance that no human ever sees your name. That is not a job search. That is a lottery with worse odds and more emotional labor. But the story gets more interesting when you look at where most jobs actually come from. The number is so counterintuitive that most people refuse to believe it until they see the research. According to data compiled by Lou Adler, a recruiting and hiring expert who has spent decades studying the market, approximately 80% of jobs are filled through networking and relationships before they ever reach a public job board. 80%. That means the 412 listings you found, they represent at most 20% of what is actually available, and they represent the 20% that nobody wanted to fill quietly. Let that land for a second. The jobs that go public are often the hardest to fill. The ones with unrealistic requirements. The ones where 3 internal candidates already said no. The ones posted because HR policy requires it, even though the hiring manager already has someone in mind. The job board shows you the leftovers and dresses them up to look like the whole menu. There is a term for this in economics. It is called information asymmetry. One party in a transaction knows more than the other, and that gap creates power. In the job market, employers and recruiters sit inside the information flow. They know which roles are opening before the opening is announced. They know which companies are growing. They know which candidates are in play. And you, sitting at your kitchen table, refreshing a job board at 11 at night, are almost entirely outside that flow. This is not a personal failure. This is a structural reality that benefits the people who built the system. Now here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Researchers Granovetter and Jakubowicz, building on work that began as far back as 1973 with a now legendary paper called The Strength of Weak Ties, demonstrated that most job opportunities travel not through your close contacts, but through your distant ones. The friend you have not spoken to in 2 years, the former colleague who left the company before you did, the person you met at a conference and connected with on LinkedIn, but have never spoken to since. Those people exist in different networks than you do. They carry information you do not have, and that information is worth more to your job search than any algorithm. The job board trained you to look inward, to optimize your resume, to match keywords, to perfect your LinkedIn profile score. It pointed your attention at a screen. It told you the answer was in the database, but the answer was never in the database. The answer was in a conversation you have not had yet. Think about how you actually got your last job, or the one before that. Sit with it for a moment. There's a very good chance a person was involved. A referral, a conversation, someone who thought of you when a name came up. That is not nostalgia, that is data. Studies consistently show that referred candidates are hired faster, stay longer, and perform better by almost every measure. Companies know this. That is why most of them have internal referral programs that pay employees to bring in candidates. They are essentially paying their own people to do what the job board was supposed to do. And yet, the job board persists. It persists because it gives you something enormously powerful. It gives you the feeling of action. You can sit down for 2 hours and apply to 30 jobs and feel like you accomplished something. That feeling is real. The dopamine hit when you click submit is real. The problem is that it is not correlated with outcomes. It is correlated with activity. And activity and progress are not the same thing. This is what behavioral economists call the effort heuristic. The more effort something requires, the more valuable it feels. Tailoring a resume, writing a cover letter, navigating a clunky application portal, all of that effort makes it feel significant, and significance makes it feel like it is working, even when it is not. The job board figured this out. Maybe not consciously, maybe not in a boardroom with a whiteboard and a villain monologue, but the design reinforces it. The infinite scroll, the constant new listings, the email alerts that pull you back in. It is built like every other attention platform, optimized for return visits, not results. So what do you actually do with this? You do not delete your accounts. You do not ignore job boards entirely. They have a role. They are useful for market intelligence. They tell you what companies are hiring, what skills are in demand, what titles are emerging. Use them as a research tool, not an application machine, but you shift the center of gravity. You put your energy into the 80%. You start treating your network like the career infrastructure it actually is. You reach out to people not when you are desperate and job hunting, but before, when you have something to offer. A thought, a connection, a piece of information that might matter to them. You talk to recruiters, not just any recruiter, a recruiter who specializes in your specific industry. That distinction matters more than most people realize. A niche recruiter who works exclusively in your field has spent years building relationships with the exact hiring managers you want to reach. They know which companies are quietly expanding and which ones are quietly contracting. They know the difference between a title that sounds senior, and a role that actually is. They know your market better than almost anyone alive, including most of the people currently working inside it. A good niche recruiter is already inside the information flow you are locked out of. They know about the role before it posts. They know what the hiring manager actually wants beyond what the job description says. They can advocate for you in conversations you are not in the room for. That access is worth something real. And you start thinking about your job search the way a marketer thinks about a campaign. Visibility matters. Consistency matters. Being the person who comes to mind when a name is needed, that is the goal. Not the perfect resume. Not the optimized LinkedIn profile score. The impression you leave in the minds of people who move in the world you want to be in. Tonight, you're going to open the laptop. You're going to type in your job title. And the 400 listings are going to be right there waiting for you, shining and promising and quietly built to keep you scrolling. And now you will know exactly what you are looking at, not opportunity, a machine that profits from your hope. The real opportunity is in the conversation you have been putting off, the connection you wrote off as too much of a reach, the person who already knows what you bring and just needs a reason to say your name out loud. That is where the jobs are. They always were.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to smash that like button, subscribe and turn notifications on and share with everyone you know. Also leave a comment down below. Say hi or ask a question. Again, thanks for watching and see you in our next video. Cheers.